Today we're going to be doing our AFC West division preview and predictions, ranking the teams 1 through 4. This division, I was telling Jude that it's kind of going to be like, in my opinion, the easiest division to predict. I could see a scenario where a team or two flips, but I just think like 1, 2, 3, 4. We both are going to talk about this, but I think it's very kind of predictable. So time to get into the division. So starting at number 4, the Raiders. I just told you the Raiders suck. That's basically my take on the Raiders. But more into it, like I think the quarterback I ranked. So I did quarterback stuff, and like I have the top quarterbacks, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, and then blah blah all the way down to the Raiders. I had them at a 2 out of 10. I'm not a big Jimmy Garoppolo fan. I think that's definitely a weakness to their team, and to go with the offensive line, which is not very strong. I have it out as a 4 out of 10. I think Jimmy G is going to constantly be under pressure. You combine that with the coaching, which, wow, I'm surprised I even had it at a 2 out of 10 and not a 1 out of 10. The coaching's bad. The O-line's bad. The quarterback's bad. That's not a recipe for success. The receivers, they have some weapons. I do think the core is a little overrated. I think Devontae is very good. Miles is a solid player. Renfro is a solid player, but he's only really had one good season. Last year, he didn't really do much. And then Austin Hooper is probably like a bottom 5 starting tight end. So, they could be a little bit more Devontae dependent than people kind of think. Is Josh Jacobs going to play? I mean, if he does, what does he make? Maybe a win difference as a running back. I think this offense is going to be pretty bad. I don't think McDaniels makes it past this year. And then the defense, I mean, they signed Marcus Peters, so there you go. You get an old corner who's, I guess, somewhat solid still. But outside of that, the coverage unit is going to be, like, atrocious. And playing in the AFC, Mahomes is going to throw for 450 on them, and they're going to lose, like, 40-10 to the Chiefs both times. Then they play Herbert. I just want to look at the schedule because it was hard to even find wins. Like, I have them 3-14. I have them beating the Broncos opening day, beating the Colts week 17, and then was the other one. I have them actually beating the Packers on Monday Night Football week 5. Maybe because Jimmy G has success versus the Packers, but who knows? Maybe that's just because he was on the Niners.
Man.
But like, who are they beating? Like, just going through the schedule, this team sucks. 3-14, worst team in the AFC in my opinion. Arguably, the Cardinals exist. So the second worst team in the NFL. Dumpster fire, your turn.
All right. I'm not going to sit here and act like I think the Raiders are going to be anything special, but I'm going to say I disagree a little bit. I don't think they're going to be 3-14. I mean, they have two like Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Max Crosby, and I really like their first round pick, Tyree Wilson. I think he's going to be a stud.
Too.
Yep, their D-line should be like legit, but I think their defense is going to be atrocious just because, like you said, the secondary is terrible. And having to go against Mahomes and Herbert that's going to be brutal for them. I think their offense actually could be pretty good. I don't think you were telling me before the pod, I don't know if Jimmy G is going to get benched. I don't think he's good at all necessarily, but they just have too good of weapons for him to he's not that level of bad. Like he can be okay with really good weapons, and we saw that in San Francisco.
But the O-line can't block from the O-line.
They couldn't block last year. They couldn't block last year, and Jacobs, was still. Well, was he first team All-Pro?
But the O-line actually overperformed last year, but it still wasn't amazing.
Okay, but I don't think they're going to be good
because they had Carr, and Carr gets the ball out quick, so that helped them. Now they have Jimmy G, who pocket statue gonna.
They're in some. We disagree on this heavily, but Jimmy G and Derek Carr, they're similar. They're not.
Derek Carr is the best quarterback in franchise history, and that is over Ken Stabler. That is over. Who's the other dude? I don't even remember. Rich Gannon, the other dude from the 70s they had too.
I don't know. Didn't Rich take him to a Super Bowl?
That was one season. Overall, as a
what did Carr ever do? All right, well, that's a conversation for another day, I guess.
Carr had no defense.
Oh, here we go again. Well, this is a conversation for another day. Yeah,
Also,
I
one
don't
more
think.
thing.
Okay.
I like what I've been seeing out of Aiden O'Connell. I just don't like one thing. Why is he wailing number 4? Number 4 should be in the rafters in Las Vegas. Come on.
All right. This is an atrocious take. Derek Carr. If you want to put, this might sound crazy. You would put Derek Carr's name in the rafters. Let's go ahead and put Baker Mayfield's in the rafters for Cleveland. Oh, why? Oh, what did Derek Carr do that Baker didn't?
Oh no.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll give you the one thing. Derek Carr, he was an absolute beast for that one season. I think it was 2017,
2016 and 2021.
2016. He was. They said he was, MVP, going to be MVP, and then he, obviously,
Matt Ryan still would have won it,
ACL.
but he broke his leg.
He was up there. He was up there though.
But anyway,
no, Derek Carr should not be.
Baker had one
Let's
good.
forget that. Let's
maybe
forget
one
that.
good deal. He has the franchise deal in every passing stat.
Oh my God, they won 5 games out of 50 before he got there. In the first year, they won 7. We're not going to sit here and act like he. Okay.
Oh, you're talking about Baker.
This is a conversation for another day. I don't think they're going to be 3-14. They just have too much talent. I don't know. I don't really know how to feel. I haven't really gotten a good feel for Josh McDaniels yet. I don't know. I'm not one way.
I mean, you can look at it
as
you had
another season.
You had a quarterback carry a dumpster fire to the playoffs, and then Josh McDaniels gets there, and people think the quarterback can't play. So there's one thing.
Well, also, I think that season. Let's conversation for another day. Let's just move on, okay? This is a never-ending argument.
I was this close to putting up
the best quarterback. Okay.
I was this close to putting up the number 4 Daily Carr Raiders jersey for the pod, but I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. But anyway,
right, let's move on to number 3.
On to number 3, Broncos. Tough team. You can like that they brought in Sean Payton. Again, I think Russell Wilson isn't the best quarterback for his system, but I think they'll make it look enough to where, they can be solid. But the receiving core is a mess now. Hamler was cut for health reasons. Tim Patrick injured again, so he's out for the year. Judy now hurt. Don't know how long he's going to miss. So you're looking at Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, who I assume you like being an OU fan, but I don't know. Brandon Johnson.
He's good.
Marquez Callaway, and then you have emergency quarterback at receiver, Kendall Hinton.
The legend.
And then the tight end, like Adam Troutman, Greg Dulcich. I'd expect Dulcich to start, but right now they have Troutman listed as the starter. O-line is actually good. Bulls, Ben Powers, Quinn Minor's become a very good guard. Mike McGlinchey's solid right tackle. Yep. The defense, though, I think the defensive line is going to struggle. They don't have that takeover pass rusher. Like, Frank Clark is a good addition. They have DJ Jones, Zach Allen, but then the other pass rusher is Balin Browning or Nick Benito out of OU from a few years ago. Linebackers, Singleton, Josie Jewell. I like Surtain a lot, but outside of him, they struggle at corner, and then I like the safeties. So, I forgot to mention Randy Gregory. He's going to be a starting pass rusher if he's healthy. But he's not amazing or anything. So I think they're really going to struggle in the front 7 and the receiving core. And I'm not sure how the coach quarterback is going to look. But I think they're still about a 7-8 win team. I just don't see them making the playoffs.
Yeah, we mostly agree. I just don't think Russ is very exciting anymore. I think Sean Payton is a big upgrade from Hackett. At least as a coach, like a head coach. And I think Russell Wilson is by no means Drew Brees. But I think he'll be a little better with Payton than he was with Hackett. I mean, shoot, it can't get any worse. I think the reason this is going back to last year, I think the reason they brought in Hackett was because they tried to sway Aaron Rodgers to go there. Obviously it didn't work. And then he asked Russ, he was like, hey, I'm running this offense. Is this going to work? And Russ, I guarantee you, Russ was like, yeah, coach, I'm good. Oh, I got everything, coach. So I just think it was built to be bad from the start. Um, I think I think if Sean Payton, like, I think it's more of a power running. They could be like a better power running team than they were last year, but I don't think that offense is built with Russ. And obviously, you just said the receiving core is kind of questionable, especially with Judy going down. It's not built to even like compete with Herbert and Mahomes, who they have to play 4 times. I think the defense has some nice pieces, but they lost their defensive coordinator. They did hire Vance Joseph, who's competent, but I think Ejiro Rivera was a big loss for them. I think they'll be better than they were last year, but I don't think they'll contend for a playoff spot. So yeah, I have them at 7-10.
All right, I had to let my cat in, but he still won't be quiet. But anyway, yeah. So I like Peyton a lot. I think that he brought over a pretty solid staff too. I just don't think that they're going to be able to have the roster that can compete with the top 2 teams in this division. So we'll just get
Yep.
on to those. Chargers at number 2. So the Chargers has kind of been the injuries that have hurt them the last
Yep. Oh man.
the last few years. The injuries have kind of hurt the Chargers. But overall, it's a really good roster in my opinion. It's just, can the defense finally play up to the roster talent? Because the defense has been disappointing. They consistently put out the last few years a defense that looks like on paper should be top 10, maybe even top 5, and then it ends up being disappointing. So can they just get it all together? Part of that's injuries. Part of that's just they're not playing as good as they should, or they missed on the J.C. Jackson signing. But it was his first year in a new system, in a position that it's hard to be consistently good at. So hopefully he can get back to at least somewhat of what he was in New England this year. But yeah, love the quarterback. I actually like the line a lot. I think adding that third receiver too in Quentin Johnson is really going to help. But yeah, I just don't think that they can compete with number 1 in this division for obvious reasons. But would it be the most surprising thing in the world if, I mean, they won 12 games, the Chiefs won like 12, and they had a tiebreaker and like may go to the Chargers? It wouldn't be the most surprising thing. I just don't see it happening. I think the Chargers are a 10 to 11 win team, and the Chiefs are about a 12, 13, 14 win team.
All right. The Chargers, I really like the Chargers. Obviously, at this point, who doesn't love Justin Herbert? I mean, how can you not? The injuries, like you said, completely killed them last season, and they still won 10 games. Um, I think them hiring Kellen Moore will be a big upgrade from the name's slipping my mind. Who they had last year as their OC.
Joe Lombardi.
Yeah, and I don't like, just from everything that I read about the Chargers, like everyone wanted him gone the year before. So
It's
I
weird.
think
I thought he was a good OC until last year. It was weird.
yeah, it was. I mean, with the personnel, since they had so many, Keenan Allen was always out. I think with the personnel, it was fine. But I think, yeah, like you said, Quentin Johnson, I think he's going to be a dude, but I think it might take him some time. He might have a drop problem, which is kind of like his thing. But yeah, their defense. I mean, I don't think Joey Bosa is going to miss. Was it like 11 games like he did last year? So that should improve them a lot. And if I'm not mistaken, JC got traded in training camp last year.
No, he was a free agent signing.
Free agent signing. My apologies. But yeah, first year in the system, like you said, I think he's going to be much improved. So if they won 10 games last year with the injuries, and now they have a new OC who's going to be better. I like Kellen Moore a lot. I think they jump from 10 to I'll say they go 12-5.
Okay, so you're a little bit higher on them than me, but yeah, they have the quarterback, and now they have the weapons, and the O-line, as long as it's healthy, should be good. Big concern is the coaching, like we mentioned.
Yep.
But yeah, on to number 1, the Chiefs. I mean, I don't see a scenario where they don't win the division, really. But yeah, so coming off a year where I actually had them, I believe, third in the division last year before the year, so I was really tripping. I was all over. Okay, they lost Matthew, they lost Hill.
Wait, I don't mean to cut you off, but who did you have up ahead of them? It was the Chargers and who?
I had Chargers 1, Broncos 2. Raiders
Oh,
or Chiefs.
I thought you were gonna say Raiders. Okay.
No, as much as I love Derek Carr, I had them at only 9-8 last year. So I know
Only
they
nine
went
and
six.
eight.
Okay, I know they went 6-11, but they were getting big hype. But anyway, back to the Chiefs. So in a year last year, well, if they were gonna have a down year, it probably would have been last year. They ended up going 14-3, winning 3 playoff games. So 17-3, Super Bowl champions, Mahomes MVP, and Super Bowl MVP. So like, I just don't see a scenario where the anything below 12 wins. And I think with that, you have to pick them to win the division. A little bit concerning about the receiving core outside of Travis Kelce, but I think they have enough guys to make it work, whether that's Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, MVS. But yeah, the defense with Chris Jones up front, Karlaftis, they're going to be good. McDuffie's up and coming young corner. L'Jarius Sneed has been solid throughout his career, and Nick Bolton's been a pretty good linebacker. So they have some guys. But anyway, yeah, I think that they're going to be right in that Super Bowl mix again, and who knows? I could predict them to go back. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with the Chiefs, it's honestly like if y'all know basketball, it's kind of like the '90s Bulls. It's kind of just like
Well, it's kind of
it.
like the 2000 San Antonio Spurs.
My apologies, that wasn't the first team that came to my mind. Um, I at this point, the Chiefs, they're kind of like that team that you're until you see them go down 2 or 3 years in a row, you're always going to have them at the top. I mean, legit, since Patrick Mahomes has been their starting quarterback, they've been in the AFC Championship at their home field every
That
single
is
year,
insane.
which is insane. At this point, you can legit call the AFC Championship the Arrowhead Invitational. That is insane. They haven't They've won 12 or more games every single year he's been the quarterback. And one receiver you didn't mention who's getting a lot of hype this training camp, Justin Ross.
Wow.
I think I think I think he could be a obviously if what they say in training camp comes to fruition in the regular season, that could be a big plus for them. But even without him, I mean, Kelce is on pace to be the GOAT tight end at this point. And Chris Jones, the only thing that could hurt them, maybe record wise, is he's going to be out until week 8. I don't know if you saw that, but the contract situation
Chris
is
Jones?
not. Yes, it's not
Wow.
going to. It's not going well. Like they can't really find a good deal for both of them. And he just posted on Twitter, I think 2 or 3 days ago, that he's going to be back like by week 8. Which I mean, it's going to hurt, but I think as long as you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, I really don't. They're going to be great. I don't really see anything in this division that can knock them off. I really don't see the Chargers could. I mean, you said this earlier. They could, 12 wins and then tie them, but obviously, the Chiefs are at this point. They're just the top of the league. They're the standard number one until they're knocked off. And yeah, they're obviously a Super Bowl contender.
Well, that's the AFC West. Again, I think it's pretty predictable 1-4, but we'll see. The NFL is always unpredictable from time to time. But yeah, next week we are going to be getting into the NFC. I'm going to have some hot takes. NFC North is going to be a wild one, and the
That is
NFC
a
South.
wild one.
I think you're going to have a hot take in the NFC South, and I'm going to have a hot take in the NFC North. But we'll see. But yeah, so excited to do the NFC, and then we're going to get into our final record predictions, and then it's time for in-season stuff. So that'll wrap up the podcast. Thank you guys, and catch you guys next time.